Hello and welcome to This Is Metal Show. Today is going to be a special show. As you can see, my regular partner in crime and co-host Tom Collier, he's sitting out of this episode because lucky Tom gets to go to a Judas Priest concert. I hope you have a time of your life, Tom. We miss you. In Tom's place, we have the A&R giant of Firerock Music, who sponsors our great little show here. We're supposed to have a guest come on that may or may not join us. I'm not sure what happened, but at This Is Metal, the show must go on. And so originally Mike was going to be our guest host sitting in for Tom, but I think instead, until we find out what happened with our guest, he's going to become the guest. So as I said, Mike, you were with Firerock Music Group. You were the A&R guy, which basically means Tom has shared with me that what that means is not only do you help develop a lot of artists, but you bring the artists to the label. In fact, he told me almost every band, pretty much every band that the label has signed has come through you. So let's talk about what you do as an A&R guy.
Well, let's just go back a little ways first. So me and Tom met because of Mr. Brandvold. And if anybody knows PR and people do PR, Brandvold, Michael was one of the biggest in the world. He had told me, he'd asked me if I wanted to do an interview with Ripper Owens. And of course, I'm a rock star fan. I've loved, the story of him getting in Judas Priest and all that. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, Ripper got busy, and I think Ripper was putting his solo CD together and all that, so he didn't have a lot of time. And he came to me and said, hey, will you do this interview with Tom Collier, who plays with Ripper and Held Hostage? I'm like, sure, yeah, that's cool. Well, by the time our interview was over, we'd become best friends. I mean, it was like instant. Me and him just connected. And, we kept in touch, and we did a couple other things along the way. And then I was talking to Tom, and I said, hey, if you need help with that label, let me know.
Yeah, wow.
And he's like, well, you want to help? I'm like, yeah. And he said, well, I'll send you a contract where you can sign it and all that, do an A&R. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. I get the contract, and it says head of A&R. I'm like, you want me to be the head of your A&R department? Really? He's like, yeah, unless you just want to be an A&R guy. And I'm like, okay, well, sure. So, of course, the first band I signed was a band that's already been on your show, the Devil Dolls.
I love the Devil Dolls, man. Let's talk about how you found them.
Well, Mac and me are friends from way back. Mac used to have a band called Shunned.
Okay.
And he'd come down to Kentucky and play for me when I was doing a club here in Kentucky. And me and him kept in touch, over the years. And he's like, well, I'm not doing Shunned, but, I got this new project, the Devil Dolls. I really didn't know what to expect. He sent me a couple of songs, like demos. I was like, that's pretty cool, because it reminded me of Wednesday 13 or Marilyn Manson or, something in that vein. But, they wear makeup, and it's all a theatrical thing. So it's kind of like also like Ice Nine Kills, because Ice Nine Kills, does these horror songs for horror things. And everybody wait, because we got a special song coming out for the Terrifier soundtrack. Now, it's not on the Terrifier soundtrack yet, but if you all help, it could be on Terrifier 4.
Now, Mike, you said you were friends with him, but let me ask you, did you know the band wore the makeup? Had you seen any pictures of the band, or did you just hear the music initially?
I really didn't know. I just knew the concept.
Okay.
I really didn't know. I didn't know. I just knew the concept, and the pictures were kind of dark, and all that, and they got signed, and the album's coming out on CD and vinyl. We hope by fall. The album's about done. It's in the mastering stages right now. Then came Jessica Kill, which you've interviewed Jessica too on your show.
Yeah.
Jessica's in the studio doing music as we speak. What I can tell you right now is MZM's coming out. I actually talked to Nick today, and he got his CDs. Wow. And vinyl will be here in a week. I'm not exactly sure, but I think that comes out July 18th.
Wow.
Worldwide, I think it comes out July 18th. let's not forget about the Atomic Kings. We got that CD out right now, and it's in distribution. It's doing very well. They're looking at doing vinyl too. So, I really feel privileged to be a part of such a such a thing as this label.
Yeah, yeah,
Because Tom really wants to empower bands
sure.
and let bands and artists be their, where they want to go in their life. It's my wife coined it best. It's either we can give you keys to a car, okay?
Yeah,
You can either take the Pinto or you can take the Ferrari,
sure,
whichever
sure.
one you want to take. So we like bands at their how they want the speed to go. We want them to be happy. We want them to be published. We want them to be, we don't take any publishing from the bands.
Yeah, yeah,
We want the bands to go back to the record labels and go, I don't have to sign my life away,
yeah,
to get my band in a position. Because
sure.
as we know, Jason, when you were talking before we started, you've interviewed plethora of bands,
Yeah, yeah,
a plethora, and me too. I've interviewed several bands in my time. So, and it's wild. We were just talking about John Corabi. I'm fixing to go see the Dead Daisies
yeah,
again. Well, I've seen John Corabi 3 times. Like I was telling you, I saw him with Union, I saw him with Motley Crue, and I saw him with the Dead Daisies opening up for Kiss.
yeah, yeah,
And it's wild when we go back, Jason. We think about things like that.
yeah.
How many bands these people have been in their life.
Sure, sure.
I know you're a big Kiss fan.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's why like I bring up the Devil Dolls. I think the Devil Dolls came along at a great time because as Kiss is ending their career, I think there's a need for a band like that to kind of try to take their place. You know what I mean? Another theatrical band. Um, they've definitely got that look, and so it's something fresh. It's something exciting. And I'll tell you, Michael, what I really love about Firerock Music Group as a label. First of all, as you said, the president, Tom Collier, super nice guy. I think the fact that the president of the record company is a fellow musician, that's why he cares so much about like we're not going to take any money from you know, from the artist, publishing or anything like that. He's been there, he's done that, he's still doing it. So he understands what these musicians are going through, and he wants to give other people an opportunity. And then at the same time, he brings people like you in, and it's just an amazing story you told today that, hey, I never done this A&R thing before, he wanted me to be part of a label. Oh, hey, you want to be head of A&R? I love the fact about that because I can tell, you're a guy like me, that you're so into music, you're a music fan. And I love the fact that the head of A&R guy is a guy that's just really into music. And it's not so much about, I'm sure part of it is about the bottom line, but more so about, hey, I'm going to go and look for a bunch of great bands to sign. It's not so
Uh,
much about the bottom line necessarily about, well, I don't see a
you
market
know,
value for this.
and the thing about it is, I know a lot of bands because
Yeah.
I've done interviews for years, and a lot of the bands that I've got to sign to the label are friends, like the Fast Mothers.
Mhm.
Me and Chris, the drummer, have been friends for years, and I'll tell you one that I didn't know was NZM. When I first looked at NZM, it was from a flyer for them opening up for, I can't remember, it was Leatherwolf or some band. I was like,
Yeah.
well, I'll give it a shot. I'll ask him. And Nick and me have bonded a great friendship over all this, man. And when I was in the hospital, he was one of the first people to call me, and he was in like Singapore with Ingve on tour.
Oh, what a great guy, to reach out like that.
Yeah, I mean, and he's always telling me, "Hey, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself." But it is about forging these relationships with people to have them, to put your career in another person's hands
Yeah.
and hope that they're going to do what they say they're going to do is a big thing. I mean, it's like you take in and going, okay, well, I can't do this show for 4 months,
Yeah.
but this guy's going to come in and take my place. The whole time you're going to worry about it and go, okay, well, I don't know if this guy can do it or not.
Yeah.
So when you forge those relationships with artists like that, it's more than just an artist.
Oh,
They
sure.
become your family,
I
you
mean, I
know?
mean, even all these years of me interviewing different bands and musicians, I've developed a relationship with a lot of these people. I've interviewed them several times, not just once. And hey, you guys got anything going on with your band? You like to do a new interview? Sure, and so and even with the publicists too of these artists, you develop relationships. And hey, I got another artist maybe you want to interview them. So that's the cool thing about what we do, Michael. And I can tell you too, there have been some funny incidents that I've encountered like through this. Like we had, for example, Tom and I had this band come on called Hurricane, legendary band from Hollywood. I mean, they never made it huge, but people know that was. Kelly Hansen, from Foreigner. That was the band he was in.
Yeah.
And the guys are trying to make a comeback. We have a whole entire band on. It was a fun interview, and then following that, a few months later, the band kind of the guitar player leaves. They kind of have a spat with him, and then I just report kind of that he's left the band, and other people they're looking to get a new guitar player. We welcome them back on because we really enjoy having these guys on, and the lead singer was like, "Hey man, I don't appreciate you blowing smoke, man, and putting our business out there and this and that." And then never got a response. He wanted to come back on, and I'm sorry, we loved having you guys on. I don't know what I did to offend you.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Hurricane, I remember when they first came out called On to You.
Yeah.
And Kelly really, when he left Hurricane, the Sarzo brother and the
Yeah.
Cavosa brother,
Oh, yeah.
which everybody knows from Quiet Riot,
Yeah.
they were the original members. It's like anything else. It's like autograph now. I read an article where
Yeah.
the original guitar player got his name back, and
Yeah.
now the autograph was Simon Daniels, and I can't his name right now. He was in Metal Church for a minute. But anyway, they're going as Autograph Beyond or Beyond Autograph is what they're going to be called now.
I think
And
so.
I sometimes wonder, Jason, like Saliva has no original members in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Quiet Riot really doesn't have any original members except for, I guess, Rudy. I mean, Rudy was there from the beginning of Metalhead. But I mean,
No.
Leonard Skinner, no original members. There's a lot of these bands that don't have original members. What's your take on that? That's what I'm trying to get at.
I think it depends on the band. I'll give you a great example. Like Leonard Skinner, I don't have as big of an issue with it only because a long time ago, Leonard Skinner became almost like guys come and go. They've died, and we're trying to keep the music alive. It's almost become a family affair, if you know what I mean. They're real big with veterans and stuff. People coming, still flying out to see them, and so I think if they're doing it for the right reason like that, and they're trying to keep the music alive, I don't have as big of a problem with it. But like when you have a band, let's say like Rat, with the only original member was the drummer, and he's trying to call himself Rat, and he didn't even write any of the songs, and he's trying to steal the name from other guys. I have a problem with that, it just
Well, I mean, in the sense of Rat, it's kind of like Janie Lane.
yeah.
Robin, who passed away,
Yeah.
was the primary songwriter in that band. It's like Warrant, the primary songwriter on all three Warrant albums, the first three albums are Janie Lane. He wrote everything. It wasn't until the fourth album he even had anybody write with him.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say in regards to Warrant, again, I don't have as much of a problem with that only because the main reason Janie Lane's not with the band, obviously he's passed away, but before that he had his issues that he was struggling with, and it's not so much that the guys fired him or threw him out or they didn't want him in the band, because like you said, Janie wrote all those great songs, and so from what I understand, Janie's family's kind of allowed the Warrant guys to continue to go out and play those songs because they want, the family, I guess, wants to see his music continue to be played and for people to kind of enjoy. So again, something like Warren, I think, has become something totally different than what it was originally formed to be.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, on the other hand, my son's never seen Pantera.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Pantera's back, with two other members, and I love it. I think I saw some footage from their Sonic Temple
Uh,
show over the weekend, and I think they're as good as they can be as far as Pantera.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, I think they're always firing on all cylinders, you know. So I really believe that's a huge, huge, huge thing, man. So let
yeah.
me ask you a question. If
Sure.
you had your choice to interview any one person, who would it be today?
Oh, well, one that I've never had a chance to interview would be like Alice Cooper. I mean, I love Alice Cooper, as you can see. He's one of those guys kind of larger than life. I don't know if I'd ever get the chance, so he's definitely one up there. I wish back in the day I would have got a chance to. I'd love to talk to Dio. I was a huge fan of everything he did, Um, and John Corabi, I've interviewed him. He's a super nice guy. Now, I will say, Corabi, we brought him up a few times. Huge fan of anything he does. I tell you, if John Corabi has put out a solo album or anything he puts out, I will go and buy right away before I even hear it because I know it's going to be good. But one band that I
Yeah,
wish would have done more with was Union. I really was a huge fan of that band.
yeah, I got the privilege to see them live. So, you know, I loved Union. I thought Union was great, man. You
Yeah,
know, and I think Molly Crew, the one with him on, is probably the best thing Molly Crew did. I'm a big Too Fast for Love fan too, but the Corabi album, it's kind of like Revenge. I like Corabi's Motley Crue, and I like Revenge Kiss. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
If
yeah,
anybody asks me what my favorite Kiss album is, I'm going to tell them Revenge.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, and some people are like Revenge, really?
Well, I mean, I'll tell
Well, yeah,
you, Revenge to me was the last great Kiss album. It really was. It was really truly an end of an era. Even though they weren't wearing makeup, I mean that was kind of it was a little like their comeback. They're trying to return to that classic sound, and it should have been a better selling album. I don't know why it wasn't, but it's still Kiss fans. Among Kiss fans, it's one of the best albums ever. People will quote that.
yeah. I mean, it's probably, like I said, it's my favorite. Like my favorite Warren album is Ultraphobic, which was the fourth album, and it was on CMC Records.
I love the song on there, the very last one, "Stronger Now," the ballad. That's a
Oh,
super.
the video's amazing too. You can just see the pain in Janie Lane's eyes when he's singing it. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
just he's just. It, I saw Warren close to 12 times in my
Wow,
life with
wow.
Janie, and I was at the infamous one where Janie went off on stage at Rocklahoma, and he
Oh,
only played one more show with them, and that was in Texas.
wow.
And I was there. I saw that show, you know. But
Yeah, yeah.
also, I saw Janie at the top of his career when Firehouse and Trickster came with him in '91 to Kentucky, you
Wow.
know. But '93 came and all the bands were
Yeah, changing the
in
guard.
clubs. They were
Yeah.
in clubs, man. So I got
Yeah,
to see Warren in a club the size of Burger King, you know.
yeah,
So
yeah. Wow. Wow.
it was really weird, man, growing up in that time period because I don't think there's ever been a music movement that destroyed another one as much as grunge destroyed glam metal.
But,
I
I
mean, it
blame I
destroyed
blame
it.
I blame the industry as much as anybody else. I mean, I've read stuff where like MTV just like I interviewed Mark Scott, the drummer from Trickster, and he told me literally like one week we were number one on Dial MTV. By the next week, the new president of MTV said they weren't going to play any more hair metal bands, which they included us. So we went from having the number one video to not being able to get our stuff played on there ever again.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. I mean, I don't know how old you are, but I'm 52, and I remember waiting up late at night to watch a Headbangers Ball on
Oh, that
Saturday.
was the thing back in the day. I remember staying up as a teenager till like 3 a.m. and my mother and father, turn that, But,
You know, that's how we found out who Dad was and who, you know, Shotgun Messiah, and I mean, that's
yeah,
how we found out about these bands is because they played them. I mean, Guns N' Roses' first time ever on MTV was on Headbangers Ball. You
yeah. I
know?
mean, if you go back to the beginning of Headbangers Ball before even Ricky Rackman, they used to have. You remember Adam Curry with the big hair?
Oh
Those
yeah,
guys,
they were very, yeah.
yeah,
And, I mean, it was it was a great time period for us as kids. Back then to be able it was for us, you know. Headbangers Ball was for us metalheads
For
who
sure.
love everything glam and hard rock, and you know that's where you saw. And then you know the other way that we were able to learn about music was Beavis and Butthead.
Oh, sure, sure.
White
And then
Zombie. The first time I ever seen White Zombie, man, was
and
on Beavis and
and then
Butthead.
you going back to Beavis and Butthead. That's an interesting thing because headbangers were really into that cartoon, and you know, you had the whole thing with Beavis and Butthead, F Winger, and We Love Metallica. You know. Yeah.
You know, Kip talks about that. Kip talks about how he
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's crazy. And I did see Winger recently too. It's been what, a year ago we saw Winger. It
Yeah.
was a year ago we saw Winger with Warrant and Bullet Boys. And Kip Winger is on his game, man. He can still sing.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
guy, you know, he still got pipes, man. What do you think about without mentioning bands?
Yeah.
What do you think about these bands that are using tracks and aren't singing up to par now?
I mean, I will say this. I prefer I mean, I live, you know, like the new Motley Crue song. People are saying that's AI. But that is, I mean, I think it sounds all right, but I think it's more people knowing it. It is, you know. But I think, you know, I think you honestly listen to it. Maybe you can't tell, but I do think there's a certain beauty to bands going in the studio like they did back in the day when we were growing up, and everybody's in the same room together. Everybody's plugged in. Everybody's not doing it separately. But again, you know, times have changed. To me, back in the day, the way records used to be made gave it a certain kick in the ass. You know, you put it on and just sonically, it sound like everybody was in the room together. You know.
I'll go on record. This is the first time I'll say this right here. I really dig the new Motley Crue song. I
I,
mean, I know that's not popular opinion, but and, you know, and I'm not a popular person when it comes to Motley Crue, but I really dig the song. I mean, you know, they used AI for the new Randy Travis album because Randy can't sing anymore, so they did AI with that. And he did that with the Beatles, that new Beatles song, which was absolutely spectacular
I mean,
too.
for things like that, it's a miracle because, like, I mean, to be honest, if it wasn't for A and I, we never get a new Beatles tune. I mean, you never get the four guys on a track together. Just, I mean, two of them are alive and two of them have passed on. So wouldn't be possible. It's amazing what technology can do.
Yeah, at the other time, man, it's like you can't do nothing without somebody knowing about it. You
Yeah,
know, I mean, it's instant. It's like, okay, people know what's going on before it even happens sometimes. And it's like, I'm a huge wrestling fan and I hate dirt sheets when it comes to wrestling.
for
It's
sure.
like, I remember the days when I had to watch the wrestling show to know what was going on from the week before.
Yeah, yeah. You know what
You know
gives
what
me,
I mean?
Michael, is I remember the days of anticipation, the days of, oh, okay, the next Motley Crue album is going to come out September 5th. I'm gonna have my money ready so I can buy that. Spending all hours in the local Tower Records. You remember when you
Oh,
could
yeah.
buy your music at a music store? Kids that want to get the latest download to me, they're really missing that experience.
Yeah, you know, my granddaughters always say, you know, I got two. Well, I got three granddaughters now, but the one's still a baby. But you know, all my granddaughters know is digital TV.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
if they have to watch a commercial, they're sitting there going, "What is this? Why are we doing this?" You know, or
yeah,
they can just go to Netflix and play whatever they want. And there's no commercials.
yeah,
And you know, God love her. I got a VCR and she found a cassette of mine and
yeah,
she shoved it in my VCR. I
yeah,
was like, I couldn't figure out why my VCR wasn't working. And I look in it and this cassette of Carly Simon's in it. I'm
wow,
like, well, that's a good. I mean, she did well. She was trying, you
yeah.
know.
Yeah,
But I mean,
yeah, I will say sometimes you got to embrace it, new technology. Like I much rather have a physical CD or even a physical vinyl in my hand to look at the beautiful artwork. But you know, for doing what I do, like with these interviews, like today, um, you know, the band hasn't released the EP yet. It doesn't come out till June 7th. But I'm able to go on YouTube and check out the latest music video the band's put out. That's what they're promoting now. They're single, the guy we were supposed to promote today from Red
uh-huh.
Hoodoo. So it's cool from that aspect, but then as a result of like new technology like YouTube, as great as it is for stuff like that, then the record companies start to think, you know what? We're not gonna print out physical CDs anymore. Nobody's buying them. It costs too much money from a record company, so we're just not gonna do it. Again, that's why a label like Firerock is so great, because I know initially you guys put everything out digitally, but the goal is to have physical product like you did with the Atomic Kings. And so you guys give people an option. And so somebody wants to get a physical copy, they have option to do it. If not, they have option number 2.
Yeah, exactly. I really think physical is going to make a comeback. It already is in vinyl. You can't go into Walmart without a whole roll of vinyl. And I never thought in my 52 years I'd see vinyl be as big as it is again. But it is. And cassette tapes are coming back, and VHS tapes, and all that stuff's coming back. And
even like Rat Pack Records, they release a lot of their new stuff on cassettes, like you say. It's coming back, and I think the reason vinyl's making a comeback because it was gone for about 10 or 15 years. And when they started reprinting the stuff, like I would pay $30 for a nice vinyl package if it looks nice, and again, if you give somebody a little extra something in the package, I think they're more willing to buy it.
Yeah, I see the prices of vinyl, and I just I wish there was the days of I could go to a flea market and buy a Kiss record for $1,
Yeah, you remember that?
Yeah. To me, I still got all my Kiss records I've had for 20 some years or longer, and they still play. So, I'm good with it, but, the most thrilling part of me when I get Nick's MZM record on vinyl, because that would be a proud moment for me, that I put on my first vinyl, on this label, and Tom gave me the chance to do that.
Yeah.
I've seen the Devil Dolls art for their vinyl, and I've seen the Fast Mothers art for their vinyl. And I'm telling you, man, these things are looking good, and they're going to be great. They're going to be black. They're not going to be color, but they look spectacular. And, I can't wait to put in my record collection and do a box opening and let people know, because the last time I got vinyl, I bought the new Foo Fighters album, and I got it on vinyl and on cassette. So that's the last vinyl that I've bought lately.
Well, Mike, I can't believe it's already been 30 minutes. We got to wrap it up, my friend, but I'll tell you what, I definitely want to have you come back as a guest once again. This was a lot of fun. We've only just scratched the surface with telling you a story, but we have to have you come back when Tom's here, because I think that'd be a lot of fun, okay?
Whatever you need me to do. If you need me to fill in again, I'm here.
Okay, buddy. I'll keep that in mind. Take care. Bye-bye.
You too.
Hey, Damien here. If you like today's show, please be sure to subscribe by clicking the link in the lower right-hand corner or on our page. Thanks for tuning in.